Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Owarimonogatari, but today we're going to be checking out episode 8. And last time, on episode 7, we finished off all of the Sodachi arc in its entirety, and man, I just have to say, the Sodachi arc had to be one of the most fleshed out and in-depth character analyses we've ever had. I mean, Sodachi ended up being an incredibly tragic character with so much detail put into all the horrible stuff that happened to her that it's just crazy. But in terms of the episode itself, what happened was that Araragi finally figured out what happened to Sodachi's mom with the help of both Ogi and Hanekawa, giving him a plethora of hints to help guide the way. Yeah, despite the friction between the two of them, they teamed up and gave Araragi all the info he needed to figure out the truth. And the truth is that Sodachi's mom didn't, just get up and disappear one day. Turns out that in her depression, she just stayed in her room until she slowly withered away and died. Like Sodachi said, she refused to eat, and then eventually she just passed away due to starvation. And over time, after like a year of just being in there, she decomposed to the point where she was apparently completely unrecognizable, not even as herself, but as a human corpse. Which, given the filthy conditions that house would have, it's not at all unreasonable to assume that the body would decompose highly quickly, although the bones decomposing is the bigger problem. I guess I could buy that whatever remains that were left, including the bones, probably just got mixed in with whatever trash was in that room, and the cleanup crew just kinda went in and shoveled it all away without even looking at it. That's about the only way I can make sense of that, really. But that's beside the point. The point is, Sodachi repressed this information. It was pretty clear that she knew what happened to her mom, but obviously that's not the kind of thing somebody would want to face, so she just represses that and just tells herself that she disappeared. I mean, her reaction to Araragi telling her this gave that impression that she already knew, because she's like, oh yeah, I thought as much. But because Araragi was able to help her out, get all of that repressed stuff out into the open, hopefully she can get out there and actually get her life going, without having to be bogged down by all the terrible stuff in her past. And to thank him, she even left Araragi a little note with a bunch of stuff on it that we didn't get to see. Araragi asked us to guess what was on it, and knowing Sodachi, it had to be like a puzzle or a math problem or something, right? And apparently, according to some comments, that's exactly what it was. That apparently the message spelled Sodachi's phone number and expressed her willingness to be friends with Araragi again at some point. Which is the kind of thing I would have expected, honestly. Now, the oh-so-knowledgeable one left me a whole bunch of stuff that I did read entirely. I can't go over all of it, of course, but lots of cool stuff in there. One such was providing a reason for the two Sodachis in the intro, in that one was her from elementary school, and the other was her from middle school, and that it represented both of her different selves from the major turning points in her life, merging together to form who she is now. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, just the level of detail they were able to leave in that comment should tell you just how detailed and fleshed out this arc really was. And what I still find really good about this arc was that it was a very human story, No supernatural nonsense, no ghosts, no spirits, none of that. Just a down-to-earth, tragic tale that could happen to anybody, given the wrong circumstances. And to me, that's what sets it apart from the rest. But for now, we can start episode 8, the first episode of the new Shinobu male arc, which takes up the rest of this part of Owarimonogatari. They're not going to split it up into a bunch of mini arcs like with Sodachi. Nope, it's just all Shinobu male. So, you know what time it is? I think it's male time. Although wait, didn't she not have his sword and it was only like a replica of it or something like that? Or am I thinking of something else? Yeah, it was already apparent when this took place timeline-wise from the beginning when Araragi said he was separated from Shinobu. That could only have meant in this period of time, right in the middle of Neko Monogatari White. And man, I'm lucky I even came close to remembering what happened to the building, because Neko Monogatari White, I reacted to that in frickin' October. It's been a while. My hair looked like this back then. But yeah, it was cool to actually get to see when the building got burned down, and the fact that it wasn't a threat to them, it burning down like was thought, it actually saved their lives. if the tiger hadn't rushed in and tried to burn the place down while they were inside, they would have been killed by the freaking samurai. I mean, there was no getting out of it otherwise. Yeah, I mean, Tsuruga was gonna try to go for the knees, but that wouldn't have done anything. Yeah, as the place was burning down, my thought process was, wait, we know that the building was destroyed, and I thought it was destroyed by being burned down, and then it clicked. Right when she said Hanekawa, I was like, yeah, that's right, the frickin' tiger showed up and burned it down. So when it says male as the name of the arc, my first thought, was male, but maybe it means male as in like a type of armor, because that also is called male, which would make way more sense given the context. But yeah, this episode was awesome. Araragi and Tsuruga banter at its finest. I mean, I especially liked the fact that she combined the "when pigs fly" and "frozen day in hell" expressions. I actually like to combine those myself, so that resonated with me. But yeah, this guy's back, the guy whose name that I can't remember. I mean, they've told us his name before, right? I just don't recall what it is because it's been so long. But he was Shinobu's first minion, way back when. She turned him into a vampire to save his life, and he hated her for that, to the point where he tried to kill her, and then just, gave himself up to the sun. But now he's back, and he wants to get some good old-fashioned revenge, wants to collect those late payments for his sword. Because what's a samurai without his trusty blade at his side? Nothing but a suit of armor, I guess. But yeah, I could tell that it was him right away. I just didn't want to say it outright for a little bit. But as I've already said a couple times now, I've been super curious about what happens during this arc because, they've danced around it for quite some time, Ever since Owarimonogatari White, they presented us with what was happening with Araragi during that time, and then we started to see, what happened right before it, we started to see what was going on after, and now, finally, we can see what actually happened. And just by this episode setting it up, it looks like it's going to be really interesting, and I'm excited. What's even more exciting is that this arc's going to be quite long. It encompasses the rest of this part of Owarimonogatari, so we got a lot of time to kick back and enjoy. So for now, I think that's all I have to say on the matter, guys, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed, subscribe to be updated on more. That would be great. Next time, episode 9, Shinobu Male, part 2. By the way, I said that they probably would have died if the tiger hadn't burned the place down, but technically if they could have survived just a little bit longer, Ononoki would have bust through the wall and then she could have saved them, so I guess there's that to take into account, but either way, now that she's here, they can get down to business and see what they need to do. Because she said she wanted to meet Tsuruga, but I think she also said she had like a particular thing in mind for her to do, so we'll see what that is. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the beginning of a very interesting arc. Very different from what we got with Sodachi, probably going back to something more akin to what we've seen in previous arcs, which is cool. I really liked Sodachi's arc, but going back to something more familiar, I welcome that as well. But as I said, that's it. Thanks again, but till we meet again, I will see you guys later.